Intuitive viewers. Good to see you guys. Well, I can't see you, but I assume you're there. But it's nice to be back with you. I took a little bit of a break. I figure I'm supposed to be here taking a break, so I better take a break. And I've, continued with my private readings, but I kind of let some other things go for a few days, and I think I needed it. Actually, I didn't realize I did, because I think you get, particularly if you're kind of avoiding thinking about stuff, like I was avoiding kind of thinking about Cassie and what's going on here, you get in a work mode that becomes a kind of a coping mode, and it's hard to break out of that. So once I did, I realized, oh, I've been under a tremendous amount of stress for a couple of years. I need a break. So I did. I took a break, and I thought I better do it here. When I go back, I'm going to kind of go back into helping with mom and, that kind of caretaking mode, and then going back to worrying about Cassie. I won't worry as much because I know we can get back here. But yeah, so that's what I did. I hope you guys understand. But I did miss you. I did miss you, and I didn't miss the channel. And I just knew the sky wouldn't fall if I took about a week off. So anyway, I'm back, and I wanted to just let you know I have a long list of stuff to get through. So if this video is a little long, you might want to take breaks in between, or go get a cup of tea now and sit down and let's have a conversation, because there's lots of stuff going on. Okay, so I took just I got a bunch of different emails. And by the way, if you wrote me an email, I'm behind. So if you haven't heard from me or haven't heard from me yet, just know that I know that you're there. I'm working through them slowly. So I'm kind of getting back in the groove of that. So, but I took a lot of the emails that I got as things were happening. And I have to tell you that here I'm very cut off from information. In the States, I watch my favorite shows, so I know I'm caught up day to day. Here, I feel very cut off, but that can also be really good when it comes to reading, because you haven't formed your own opinion. You haven't formed your own stuff, so you're just getting what you get, and it's sometimes a very clean filter. So I'm hoping that today's reading will be really helpful, and it will be pretty clear and concise about what's happening, what's going to happen, and where we are. I never think that my predictions are. I feel like it's something that I do and that I can do, but I feel like my abilities lend themselves best to looking what people are thinking, looking at people's motivations, seeing where they are personally. And I will tell you that I've been picking up a lot on some unusual people. So one is Nancy Pelosi. I recognize her energy now. So when it comes in, or when I feel it, I just know that it's her. I felt a lot of Swalwell. What's his first name? Swalwell. The guy. I felt a lot of Pompeo, which is kind of weird. Doesn't come on my radar very often. I felt some stuff with Ivanka, which again doesn't come on my radar very often. But so that's kind of interesting how these people come in when they're not on my radar normally, but when I'm completely I feel like the line of connection is very pure, because I don't have all these kind of already, these certain feelings about certain people and things. I don't really know what's going on with them. So I'm anxious to look at that, because I would get pings of this person, this Eric Swalwell, this person. So yeah, so let's look and see what's going on. So the first thing I want to do is look at the Capitol riots, the January 6th committee. I just want to get a general feeling of where they're going, and what they plan to do, and kind of the outcome of what is going to be, and the outcomes, you know, I always have to say, and I remind myself too, that these are probabilities. My guides are showing me what not only what they're hoping for as spiritual beings, like where they hope we'll be, but also where the probability, the most probable is. But I have to always remind myself and remind you guys that we have free will, and free will can tilt things and move things and change things. And Trump is a person who exercises his free will regularly, not in a healthy way, you know, in a very destructive way, but he also, we all have the gift of free will. So that's why we're here, right? To make decisions and to navigate our lives. So anyway, okay, so let me look at the committee and see what comes in. And I'm just going to ask my guides to let us know where the committee is now, where they're going, where they may end up. Okay, so I'm getting, sort of, I was waiting for, so often now I'll get some clairaudience, I'll get a word or something, and I was waiting for that, and I'm getting images. So okay, so I'm getting a mixture of images. Let me just tell you kind of what I'm getting. I'm getting the oh, Liz Cheney is furious. She's furious. She's angry. I even see her turning red, hitting the wall, like hitting the wall. She's furious. And I feel like she, in private, she expresses it more that way, loud, not violent, but maybe more animated. I feel like I'm sure with all lawmakers, but with her especially, I feel like we're seeing, when we see her talk out in front of us, we're seeing a very controlled version. There's a whole nother version of her that's explosive. She's furious. She's furious. And I see her actually having conversations with Nancy Pelosi regularly. But the pictures that I was seeing were like, okay, you may have to help me with this, but I'm seeing the pictures of like an abandoned amusement park. It looks like abandoned, rusty. I could hear like the, you know, like when you hear an empty park, you can hear the chains kind of squeaking. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing the party's over. So it's interesting because that vision also brings up feelings of loss, of like, this used to be fun and now it's deserted and empty. There's nothing here. It feels sad. I feel like this is representing the Republican Party. I feel like the party's over. I feel like the life has gone out of the party. The life has gone out of what it once was. It's dying, basically. But it's oh gosh, that's a great metaphor. My guides are awesome. But I'm always so, I'm just like, that is a great metaphor, because I feel like it is kind of like so so much life and so much took place with the Republican Party over the years, and it's a relic now. It's people are deserting it, right? And people are, it's depressing to look at, and it's I think for people like Liz Cheney, not that they were ever, I mean, I don't want to make it sound, I mean, the Bush administration was awful. There, there are war criminals abound in the Republican Party. So it's not like it's like, but I feel like it's like through their eyes. People like Liz Cheney, how she looks at it, it's like they have devastated this party, and she's furious about it. And I feel like it's also kind of like, how do we rebuild this? How do we make this better? How do we bring life back into it? And I feel like that's undecided right now. And that's why it's like an old abandoned amusement park. It used to be something that they felt brought life to the country, and it's not that anymore. It brings death. It brings misery, sadness, emptiness, all of those things. And I hope you're sharing the vision that I have, because it is like an abandoned, it's an abandoned amusement park, and like weeds are growing through the rides and stuff. It's very almost spooky, but it's an eerie, sad state that they're in. Okay. So I feel like so far, they understand where they are. They're Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger are very clear on where the party is. They get it. They get it. They get that this is not, it's not like they can just turn it around and have a great election and that's it. This is something different. It's it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. They get it. And it's interesting too, because I feel like they're in the position of caretakers. Like they're the ones standing in the middle of this empty thing, being like, how in the world do we rebuild this? But we're responsible to do so. And that's it feels like the weight of the world right now. I keep seeing the guy with the really curly hair. I can't think of his name, but Kinsey? No, not Kinsey. I think you guys know the main kind of guy that is heading up the committee, not the foreman, but the kind of one of the main lawyers. I cannot think of his name, but I'm seeing him. He's tired. He's the one that talked about his daughter thinking the Capitol was a scary place, and we like didn't want to come back there and stuff, and got so choked up. I feel like he is. He's exhausted by all this. This is really, and he's so doesn't understand how these people are still sticking with Trump. It's like, I don't even understand this. I can't even begin to understand why they're doing this. What are they getting out of it? But I feel like it's exhausting him. It's tiring him. He feels, he doesn't feel sick. He just feels very, very exhausted by all of this. But at the same time, so like, it's almost like I can't let this go, and I can't stop being angry about it, but I'm exhausted. It's exhausting me. It almost feels like the Republicans on the committee are more angry than the Democrats. The Democrats, I feel like, they really do look at this as like, this is our responsibility to figure out what happened. Republicans on the committee are angry. They feel so mad. And they're the ones, I feel, those two, and I feel like Cheney's talking to Nancy Pelosi, telling her subpoenas, go put them out now, and they need to be enforced. And she feels very like that's where she's at this point. It's like, get these people in there. I want to I want to go after them. I want to question them. I want to know. And she wants to do this yesterday. She's like, we need to do this now. I feel like, as usual, Democrats are very like kind of measured and kind of like, well, we can't go out and do, they're like, this, we need to do this right now. So that's what I feel like the conversations are about. And I feel like Nancy Pelosi's like, okay, that sounds good. But I feel like she's getting some, not that Democrats don't want to know, or that they care a lot about what things look like. They don't, and she shouldn't do that, because they just need to do stuff. They need to stop, in a way, thinking politically. They need to just do their job and not worry about optics, what it's going to look like. Because I don't think that it's I think they're very aware that the American people, are on their side right now, and they don't want that to change. And I think they just need to do their job. That's my personal opinion. They just need to do their job. But I do feel like there is some of that, like, kind of measured kind of, whoa, let's not go crazy, but let's, we need to do this in a specific way, and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like the Republicans and Nancy Pelosi, there's somebody else too. I'm trying to think who else is on the committee. This feels like a woman with a very masculine energy. Zoe, that's what I'm hearing. I don't know who this is. Zoe. Someone just said Zoe. So, but I'm feeling like this very kind of masculine female. It's female, but she's female, but it feels like a very masculine energy. And it feels like she is like raring to go. It's like, let's get these people in here. I want to know what's going on. So she's up there too. There are Democrats that are on the same page, but I feel like it's swaying. There's really angry people, and then these other people that are trying to be more measured and calm about this. So that's, I feel like, where they are right now. I feel like they're going to be subpoenaing. I'm just going to list the people that I feel like are going to have to come in, that they're going to compel to come in. Mike Pompeo, I see over and over again, and I saw him, if you remember, like, I think it was either him or Trump, like, sweating, and it was like, oh, they're in the hot seat. So, but I feel like that way I feel like they're going to try to get Trump in. I feel like they're going to try. Whether they will succeed or not, I'm not sure, but I feel like they're going to try. John Jr. Kimberly. What's her face? His, like, girlfriend or whatever she is, fiance. A guard, somebody who's a guard, a main guard. I can't remember what they're called, but they're saying the main guard. So of the Capitol. So he's going to testify. It's a man. He's going to testify. Jim Jordan? Would they have Jim Jordan testify? And I see him crying. That's really weird. It's so not his personality. So I don't know if it's in private or in public, he's going to cry. Gomer, whatever that guy's name is. And it's a mixture right now. What's happening, you guys, is I'm seeing a mixture of people and I'm hearing pieces of names. So that's why I'm kind of like half in. And a lot of these people, of course, I know their faces. And when I hear their names all the time, of course, I know their names, but I'm not in the loop right now. So I'm kind of out of it. William Barr. I feel like Barr might try to use some kind of like, I don't have to talk because my something is protected, like I can't give away secrets, or that kind of something. So I feel like he might try to use something like that. So I feel like a lot of his answers might be a little like, I refuse to answer that, like pleading the fifth, but it's something different. So him, Ivanka. Pence. Millie. I feel like there's somebody I want to say in the Army. And there's somebody from, I don't know if it's Chris Wray, but it feels like they're representing the FBI. Flynn. Hearing that. Okay, so that at least gives us a list of who they're considering or they're going to subpoena. So that at least gives us an idea of where they're headed. The calls. Somebody just said the calls. And I'm seeing like phone records. So there's going to be something about, I think it may, once they get the records of calls, it may compel certain people to have to testify or certain people to be called, or something with that. Okay, let me ask my guides what the outcome is likely to be with this committee. It feels like there's twists and turns. It keeps getting worse for the Republicans. It just feels like it's they're deflated. There's and it feels very. It just feels like they can't come back from this. It's very difficult to come back from this, but it feels very twisty and turny, but also like it just keeps getting worse for them. Rudy Giuliani, something with Rudy Giuliani. Okay. I'm going to move on to the other subjects that people wanted to know about, and hopefully this will be a little bit shorter. I don't want this video to go on forever, but it has been a while. So Brett Kavanaugh, somebody was asking about Brett Kavanaugh. I guess they They found out they didn't do a thorough investigation. I think we knew that, but they're coming out with more specifics. So I wanted to, somebody just asked how he was feeling, what he was doing, how he was feeling about this. The first thing coming up for him is his wife. They're saying like she knows but doesn't know. She's, it feels like she's in denial. She doesn't want to know. It's kind of like, she's not stupid, but she, it's kind of like, and I can see their kids. So I feel like it is almost like a woman, if like being cheated on, but she's just like, I don't want to know because it would upset my whole life. It would upset everything. I don't want to know. But she knows. She just refuses to look at it. Somebody was saying like, how does he feel about, I feel like it's weird because I feel like when he goes home, it's like, they don't ever talk about this stuff. They don't ever talk about it. It doesn't come up. They both just live as though nothing's happening. He feels insulated. He feels protected for some reason. I was going to say, don't bring God into this, but there's something about like God, like wants him on the Supreme Court, that kind of thing. It's weird. It's like he's convinced himself like I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there. So I feel like he's in a state there. They stay in a kind of a state of denial, almost like this is, I'll be protected. God wants me on the court. I'm meant to be on the court. So I feel like it is a little bit like Trump, how it's like, it's just going to work out for me. Yeah, I don't know how, it's just going to work out for me, but that's the kind of feeling it is. He knows that he's done a lot of stuff and he knows that there's a lot of stuff out there, but he just feels like he feels insulated. He feels protected. When you're a white, rich man, you feel protected. You feel insulated. You feel like things can't touch you. You've learned that in your life, right? You get away with stuff. So that's the way he feels. It's kind of like, I'm going to be protected. I'm going to ask what the reality is, though, because we're not going to get it from him. DOJ comes up. They're looking at this stuff. They're looking at stuff. So they're working on it. That's all I can tell you. But I feel like he's not out of the woods. He may think he is, or he doesn't hear about it, but he's not. He's not out of the woods. They are looking at him. And they're trying to weigh whether it's worth upsetting everything. It's interesting too, because I feel like the DOJ doesn't want to, it's like, we want you to pay attention to this right now. So we don't want to bring this up yet. But I feel like it will come. It will come. It's just not, they're trying to set priorities. And I feel like the January 6th commission is that's the thing right now. And like kind of what's going on with Trump and his people, that's what's going on right now. It's kind of like, we're looking at this, but we don't want it to explode yet because we've already got this explosion over here and we want people to pay attention to that. So in a way, it kind of feels a little political as I'm saying it like that, but it does feel like prioritizing. They're trying to prioritize. And it's almost like, we'll get to Kavanaugh, don't worry. That's what it feels like. But it may not be like in the center of their universe right now. They'll get to him though. Okay, I'm going to move on to Gavin Newsom. Okay, so I'm hearing child's play. And it's interesting because I feel like that has something to do with how this will end up. It feels almost like kids that want to like just make a ruckus and be kind of obnoxious, you know. It doesn't feel like he gets recalled, but it feels like that's not the point. The point is to do damage to him. They see him as a threat in the future. So I feel like it's like, it's almost like what they did to Hillary, kind of let's put enough holes in this guy and maybe he'll run out of steam, that kind of thing. But it feels like it's to hurt his reputation. It's to hurt him going forward. It almost feels like the point really isn't to recall him. The point is to just make it look bad that he was almost recalled, that, you know, I guess there's always the chance it could fly, but I just don't feel like it has enough support. And he has a lot of like high level friends. He feels like he's very connected, and he has a lot of people that give him a lot of money and stuff. I mean, he in a way, he's kind of our version of that kind of Republican that gets a ton of money from somebody and is always taken care of. And he's kind of that a little bit, but for good, because he usually does good. You know, his policies are usually pretty, pretty good. But that's what it feels like right now. It just feels like he won't get recalled, but that's not the point. The point is to hurt him, damage him, distract him. That's what it feels like. So that's what I'm feeling. And, you know, again, with all of this stuff, you know, things can change, things can turn, but right now it feels like that's not even the point. It's to hurt him, hurt his political future. Okay. They're afraid of him. Basically, they are nervous with him. They're trying to hurt him. Okay. So, someone asked if Jeffrey Epstein was still alive. That people, there have been people getting messages like that. So I'm going to ask about that and just see what's going on there. Someone just said he's a ghost. So that's interesting. So that's interesting. I feel like people might be getting him still alive because he's still here. He hasn't gone anywhere. He hasn't gone to the light. And I'm seeing that woman, Mad Max is what we call her. I feel like he's with her. I feel like he's by her. And he's talking to her. I see him talking to her. She may even be able to hear him in some weird way in her dreams or something. I feel like they're communicating, which is weird. But he's a ghost. They just said he's a ghost. So it may be why people are picking him up as being alive is because he hasn't left. And I do see him like talking to that woman. she's broken. She's in really bad health or something. There's something wrong with her. There's something going on with her. She feels very weak and broken. So that's what I'm getting. And if people, if you believe that he's still alive or that's okay. That's okay. I mean, right. This stuff we get what we get, but I can't ignore the fact they just said he's a ghost. So that's what I'm getting. Okay. Okay. So, and then the Afghan translators, are they going to be safe? Are they going to get out? I just heard we have a plan. I think they might be separated or put in different places, but I heard we have a plan. So I'm going to just take that up as what it is. And it feels like they're okay. They're safe. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like it's, and I feel like it's already been decided. Like they already know what they're going to do. So that's what I'm getting for them. Okay. And the United States is part of it. They're part of it. So they may not all come to United States territories, but they're part of it. They're in the discussions, and they are taking part in what to do. So, okay. And then I'm looking at the Sydney lockdown. I just heard overkill. So, election? Is there going to be, do they have an election coming? I feel like this has something to do with that. So I'm getting something about election, something about an election, but also Sydney, it feels like it's overkill. So whatever they're doing is like, oh, that's a little over the top. But it's also like, I don't feel like they're backing off. I just feel like, yeah, it's overkill. It's but there's infighting. People are worried about an election. People on the inside are worried about an election. People making these decisions, some of the people are worried about an election. Some people are just like, this is what we're doing. So I feel like there's I guess there's a chance this could change, but I feel like it's like they're fighting about it. They're talking about it. And the fear is an election. Something about an election. So that's what I'm getting with Sydney. It does feel like it's whatever's in place is going to stay in place, but it does feel like, but the conversations go on. So maybe there's a chance it could, shift, but I feel like right now it's like, it's solidly in place. So, okay. And I got an article from a subscriber about spies in the Democratic Party, almost like gathering information for Republicans, being on the inside, that kind of thing, and getting, they're like spies, basically. I shared both sides. So I guess it's something we normally do to each other, but we didn't, maybe it's just coming out now, but it feels like, oh yeah, we have ours too. It's like that, we do that. That's something we do. So it's almost like it breaks even because it's something, this is kind of a both sides do it. It does feel like, it feels different though. It feels like Democrats, the information they gather is for their own knowledge, for their own awareness. Republicans, it feels like they take it to to use in a more sinister way, which wouldn't surprise me, right? If that's kind of what they do. But it does feel like there's a difference there, but it's like, yeah, we both do that, but we do it for these reasons and they do it for these reasons. So, and the Republicans feel, it just feels a little more like icky, more sinister, more kind of, and to kind of exploit too. So there's something with that as well. And they also wanted me to look at the bodies found in Canada of children. I don't know a lot about this, but I'm just going to ask about it. Someone said more to come. Maybe I looked at this before. Did I look at this before? But this feels like, it's weird. I don't know if I've looked at this before, but it's like retreading the same ground. Something about retreading the same grounds. I don't know if they're saying that to me, like I'm treading the same, like I've already done this, but I don't think I did. So I feel like they might be saying something about like in history this has happened for, and where this is happening again. I heard unearthing, so I know that when they say that, it's like this is all part of the unearthing, bringing things out into the open, including bodies, including the secrets, corruption, all of this stuff that's still coming to the surface, and this is part of that. It cannot be. Things need to be faced, and I feel like. I feel like these stories need to be told. This story needs to be told. It's time, basically. It's time for this to come out. It's this is happening. It's part of this. It's all part of the same kind of thing. They're saying there's more, and it leads to other things. So it's a starting point. It's like, okay, this is where it starts, and then the story's told. It's here too, they just said. So it's here too. It's in the United States too. We're going to find this as well. I'm seeing floods for some reason. So I don't know if maybe some of this is discovered because of flooding. Like it literally like brings everything to the surface. I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know why you would, about a year and a half ago, I actually think it was my 2020 predictions. I kept seeing everything with water. And I feel like this year, that is what's happening. Tons of water stuff. And at the time, it felt like, and it was weird because at the time we were having tons of fires and I kept seeing water. So I felt like this is going to shift, and the water is going to start coming in. And now we're having all these weird floods and everything. And I did see a giant tidal wave that I don't think has happened yet. I haven't seen what I saw. And I remember I talked about like mudslides and just all kind of like mud, water. And it just felt like the earth was trying to cleanse. That's what it felt like. And I just feel like even the fires that we've had, even the pandemic, it feels like the earth is in such turmoil that it's literally trying to shake off us. So often I'm reminded that the earth is, I don't know if I've ever put it this way, but it's come to me this way many times, that the earth is like it has its own spirit, it has its own, it's its own thing. So it has it, I don't know how to explain it. It has its own, not just an energy, it has its own spirit. And so the things that it goes through, what we put through Mother Earth. So think of Mother Earth as actually like a mother with a spirit. That's what it comes across as to me. So it feels like whatever happens, I don't say it's going to be okay, because it doesn't sound good. The world ends. It's clearly not okay. It means that as spiritual beings, we have to start all over again with this earth being our school. I know that Dolores Cannon talks a lot about she's talked about the 3 waves of volunteers who have basically come here to help the earth, help us help the earth, help us to evolve so that we can kind of move into a different consciousness. And that's what's happening. But it's almost a race against time. That's what it feels like. It's a kind of a race against time. And as more things happen, more is going to happen, because it just feels like it's this kind of this pushing us to do the right thing, to get to the right place as quickly as possible. And it reminds me of that image that I had of Helen Keller with, learn, and we're going to push you, and we're going to send fires and floods and all of it. Earth is trying to teach us. It's screaming out for us. Take care of me, fix me, get off of me if you can't figure it out. That's what it is happening. So without being too dramatic about it, but that is what it feels like is happening. So whatever depths or whatever limits we have to be taken to dig in and to start doing this, to start saving mankind and saving the planet and shifting our consciousness, that's what's going to happen. And I hate to close on that note, but that is what it feels like. And it just feels like, yeah, things are going to get worse until they get better, until we make them get better. So in a way, it's kind of like, in the spirit realm, we're all spirits. We're all spirits having a human experience. We have a suit of a human suit to have experiences here, to make decisions, to be part of the process, to be part of the grand scheme of decision making. It's a gift to be here. It's we all wanted to come before we got here. It may not seem like it now. We all sure wanted to be here and try to be the ones to help get us going in the right direction. How do I know that you're like that? Because you're watching this channel. We're not in the dark. We know what's going on, okay? But there's a whole lot of people that don't. And those people are going to need to be jolted into figuring this stuff out. We're seeing it in a micro way playing in our country, with a majority getting what's happening, and then this small minority that's dangerous and can definitely do damage, who just refuse. So they're still going. That's why they are still going through the coronavirus in such a horrible up close way, because they're still having to figure this out. It doesn't mean some of us won't get caught up in that, because if you live in a red state, you know, that's what's going on right now. But there is there's a difference, you know. We have already started to shift into the new earth. We've already started to shift in a spiritual way. We've already lifted our consciousness, and it's still lifting, but there's people that they're refusing, they're you know, they're not in touch really with their spirit self right now. They're very caught up in the drama of earth, and which happens. That does happen. It's probably happened to us in other lifetimes. We just don't remember, but they're still caught up in it. And what I feel like is that the earth and my guides are saying is that, yeah, this stuff is going to continue until there's a big majority that's working in one direction, because we have to save the earth. We've got to save it. But if we don't save it, and let's just pretend that the whole, you know, everything exploded, and all that would happen is that we would go back and be disappointed and start again from the square one. And we don't really want to do that. We've done that before, and it's not fun. Atlantis, it's a good example of that happening. So we don't want to do that. We're trying as hard as we can. And that's really what we're here to do, is just try and drive this in a positive, loving, giving, compassionate place. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. You're doing it. If you're here, you're doing it. I know you are. So we really don't have to, it's not like we have to worry about anything. We just have to stay engaged and do what we're doing, and try to help lift the consciousness and lift the vibration of Earth. That's it. That's all we have to do, guys. Get on it. So, but if you're here, you're doing that, right? I haven't figured out exactly where our money's going to go. I got some suggestions, and I'm definitely gonna do those. But there's other places that I'm looking at, so I'll let you know probably on either the next video or the next one. So this is for the one for July, so I'm still kind of deciding, but we still have that to do. So I hope everybody is doing well. I always say that, but I do. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, we're in this. You know, we're not going to give up. So, you know, we're just in this, and that's the way it is. So I hope everyone's doing well. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for staying with me on this very extended episode of Intuitiview. And I will be doing a live probably next week. I would say probably midweek. So look around Tuesday, Wednesday, around that time. Okay. All right, everybody, have a good one. And I will talk to you guys again soon.